As 2025 draws to a close, there are several things that have taken us personally by surprise, and our budget is going to have to change again.
If you don't know us, I'm Larry.
I'm Hallam.
We're from Under the Median, where practical frugality meets real life.
Welcome to Money Talk at the Kitchen Table. This is a brand new series for Under the Median. We're hoping to do this every month. So as you watch through the video, if you like this concept, like this idea, give us a thumbs up and tell us in the comment section you'd like to see us do more of these types of videos. We got to talking about our personal money, what was going on, what we needed to change. And I said, let's do a video. And this video is kind of like if you were invited to our house for a cup of tea or a cup of coffee
Or a cup of water.
Or a cup of water. Then this is the kind of stuff that we would do. We would sit down at the kitchen table and we'd have a good old talk about what's going on in our lives and how we're reacting to those changes and what we plan to do next. So these are things that have come into our life in the past 30 days or so and how we're dealing with them. Now, the first thing is our natural gas bill. Now, if you've been following Under the Median, we got a little surprise at the beginning of the summer because our utility company said we're going to raise the summer supply rates by 50%. We went to work, we worked hard, we had a 5-month goal, we lowered our usage of electricity by 22%.
And we did that by looking at every angle of what we use.
So we're super excited. We're wrapping up that challenge. And it's mid-October because our last bill came in mid-October. I'm like, Larry, this is great. We met the goal. We lowered our bills this year compared to last summer by about 7%. So we were super happy with that. The goal was 10. We were pretty doggone close. We were within about $25 of reaching the 10% goal. So we're excited. I'm like, great, let's get our winter utility goals all set. I make a spreadsheet, a detailed spreadsheet. I'm ready to roll. And I open my email and find that our utility company is going to raise the natural gas rates.
And the only thing about that is that they didn't tell us exactly how much they were going to raise it. They just said they were going to raise it. So our natural inclination is if they're going to raise our gas prices, we got to lower our gas usage. But we can only lower it so much in the winter time because we keep our house pretty cool anyway. What's our thermostats set at in the wintertime? What's our
64 during the day, 60 at night.
Yeah, 64 in the day and 60 at night. We really can't go much lower than that.
I am not going below that. I'm just not.
And as I've gotten older, I can feel the cold a little bit more than when I was a young man. So this is not a good time to try to be adjusting that just to the above freezing mark, for instance.
So this is just sort of an outline of what we do. We got the news.
Yeah.
I saw it, that this like news release that they had requested this huge amount of money that they were asking for. And so the powers that be said, you can't ask folks for that much money. And they're suggesting, so basically it's waiting to find out. It's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. It will happen. And so I reached out immediately to a friend of mine, Scott at Citizens Utility Board. Now, if something like this happens to you, you're going to find a place in your community or in your state that helps people figure out what to do with the cost of utility bills. So Citizens Utility Board is a not-for-profit, and they're a watchdog group, and their goal is to make sure that we pay as little as possible for reliable electric and natural gas in the state of Illinois. I reached out to Scott and I said, okay, I reached my summer goal, please. I was so excited. And now this happened. And here's the information you need to know, because here's the 411 that Scott gave me. It kind of burst my bubble and all my hopes and dreams with it. But he told me that most of the cost increase is going to be stuff that it's like taxes and fees and things like that we are not going to be able to change. They're just going to be added to the bill. Now, the natural gas price per therm may very well go up a little bit. He said it wouldn't surprise him if it did, but really what you're looking at is money that's just going to be added to the bill. So I immediately said, well, do you have any information? Gather information. get your hand on everything that you can find that's going to tell you how you can use less natural gas. And in the meantime, our natural gas bill is connected to our electric bill. And I told Larry, I said, you know what? We did it over the summer. We lowered it 22%. And I feel like that's going to become now our natural norm, right? To figure out what that minimum is that we need to spend.
Yeah. So some of the things that I think about is, what can we do to insulate our house even more? Now, we've done a lot of insulation on it. We've got a good 6 inches of blown-in insulation up in the attic. Our utility company went over what we were doing and how our house was designed. They had a company come in and survey that for us, and they gave us a lot of suggestions on what we could do, and they paid for it, and they actually brought in people to do it for us. So it was really nice. We replaced all the windows in the house when we moved in, so we have newer type windows in, and they also reinforced some more insulation around the attic in the corners and the edges. They deepened that so that we wouldn't get as much, coolant leaking in from the outdoors winter temperatures. So there isn't a lot more we can go in that direction. We can go ahead and cover our windows in the living room. We have big windows. We're going to cover those. We're going to close the drapes. Our drapes don't work too good. We're going to see if we can get those to work so we can at least close them. And so there are some things yet we can do. I wish we could cut a room or two off that we weren't using, but our rooms are all open in this house. They're not closed off and insulated that way. So we don't have them isolated, so we could just shut a door to a dining room or to a spare bedroom and not use it and not have to worry about heating it a whole lot.
Bubble wrap. I have bubble wrap left over from last year. The bubble wrap is going to go over the windows.
We're going to try that.
And so I'm also looking for more bubble wrap. One of the things you need to think about is just as soon as we realize cold temperatures are coming, like it doesn't happen every year in Illinois at this time, but so it should not take us by surprise, right? Think ahead of time, because by the time you go to, let's just say, everybody in the national media starts going, cover your windows with bubble wrap. Everybody in your town is going to be looking for bubble wrap.
Then they buy it all up.
Look for it now.
Now's
See
the
what
time.
kind of a deal you can find on bubble wrap. Go on if you're on a buy nothing group, post on there, just looking for sheets of bubble wrap, big sheets of bubble wrap, and see if you can't get some for free. Go on your Facebook page, your friends and family, local peeps. That's what I call them when I need something locally. My local peeps. Do you have any bubble wrap? See if you can source it for free first. Just think in terms of that frugal hierarchy that we've talked about a lot on this channel. So first you source for free, then you source for cheap, and then, by God, if you have to pay retail, you're going to try to find it at a reduced price. So just think of that in terms of, what do I need? What supplies do I need to reach the goals that I've set using the information that I've gathered?
One of the things you have to figure out is, how is this going to impact our 6-month goal toward our utility bills? Is it going to raise it? Is it going to lower it? Are we going to have to change the goal amounts that we set in the past? These are questions that we've had to discuss between us.
Among other questions, why did we set a 6-month goal?
Yes.
We always set a 90-day goal, and Larry goes, I feel like a 6-month goal is quite doable. So we have a 6-month goal. The question is, are we going to break that up into smaller goals? Here's the things with goals. Goals are not set it and forget it. You have I don't care if it's a 90-day goal or a 6-month goal. That would be 180 days. Do quick math there. Do you see that? Quick math.
She's good.
You can't just set it and go, well, I'm just going to check out again in 90 days or 180 days. You have to break it down to smaller goals. We have a list. We're gathering information. We're creating a list. Here's what we are doing to proactively try to figure out how to deal with this rise in this bill. And this is not the only bill. No. I wish it was that we are facing going up in 2026. But you can't just sit around and go, well, I guess that's it. They're going to charge me what they're going to charge me. Well, they're going to charge us what they're going to charge us, but what parts of that bill Okay, we already know. We get new fees for natural gas. We can't control that.
No.
What can you control? And then you check on it.
And what we might have to do is look at our other areas in our budget and lower those to compensate for what's going on with the gas bill. Because if we can't go down any more than we can go, once we get to that bottom part and you can't go any lower, then you have to adjust the other things to kind of make up for the amount of money that you're putting in to your gas expenses.
Let's talk about things going up for just a second.
Yeah.
Social Security Administration, ooh, they came out with the COLA for next year. Cost of living, what is it? Cost of living adjustment. Cost of living adjustment.
I don't know. It was such a micro amount that they're raising it. It's hardly going to make a difference.
Okay, COLA, cost of living adjustment. They just came out with it, 2.8%.
2.8%. Woo! Wow, what are we going to do with all that? We've been spending weeks on end trying to figure out what we're going to do with all that extra money.
You know what we're going to do with all that extra money? I also heard that Part A and Part B are both going up. So honestly, it's going to be pretty close to a wash.
I think I can afford an extra payday candy bar.
Oh, wait. Speaking, we've got to throw in a couple of wins here.
Okay.
Because, do you want to tell them your payday candy bar story? Go.
Well, when I go bike riding, I like to have a payday candy bar when I'm about finished with the ride because I've worked up an appetite. So I've been getting them at Menards with our what is it?
The rebates.
The rebate. I can't remember what percentage the rebate. 11%. 11% rebate. I've been taking those and getting the candy bars for nothing, but those candy bars are expensive. I've been getting the double candy bars. I think they're about $2.98 for just one of them. They're unbelievably high priced. So we just went to Hy-Vee. And
no, it was Kroger.
Oh, it was Kroger. You're right. It was Kroger. We went to both stores, actually, but it was Kroger that had the deal. And there was a guy next to all these candy bars that he had placed nice and neat on his shelf, and somebody walked up and said, "What's the deal with all the candy bars?" And he said, "These are all leftover candy bars from Halloween, and we're lowering the price. Regularly sells for $1.99 a piece. We're lowering them to 50 cents each." Yes, from $1.99 down to 50 cents. So I think I bought about 8 of them.
No, more than that.
Well, I'm going to go back and get some more because that's a good deal.
About a dozen.
Yeah, so that will last me a long time, probably most through the winter, because I don't eat one every time I ride the bike. But that's a good deal. We felt good about that at least.
So if you need your candy bar stash replenished, there you go.
Go
check your Kroger because they are going on clearance right now. It's little things like that. And so one of the things we want to point out, because we're going to show you the candy bars, and there were a bunch of other things that we got from Kroger and Hy-Vee. We're getting ready to do a video on like 40 things that we did in 1 week that helped us to save money.
Yes.
So be watching for that. But in preparing for the video and taking footage for it, it reminded me that one of the things that I think has made frugality so successful for us is that little things really just tickle us. You have to be able to look at those little things and go, yeah, 50-cent candy bars. Or, yeah, I saved 22% on my utility usage. You have to be able to look at, and part of that, I'm just going to say it because I say it all the time. Wait, I'm going to say it again. Hard data, facts, figures. When you figure out what you're saving, it really does make it worthwhile to continue doing that because a little bit of money saved over a long period of time adds up to a lot of money over a period of time.
And these little wins give you a sense of victory, and they help you to have just a little moment of rejoicing and joy and happiness because you've actually made some benefit toward what you're trying to do. So everything can take a little bit of time and be a little bit hard to get to, but it's worth it in the end when you can gain something through all your efforts.
Wait, I have to ask. This is like the poll in the comments section. Payday, that's Larry's candy bar. I don't really have a candy bar because, to be honest with you, sweet things are just not my cup of tea. If I'm going to binge, it's not going to be on something that's super sweet, like 2 bites and I'm done. So I don't have a super favorite. If I had to pick one, I'd say Milky Way. You got to tell us in the comment section, favorite candy bar, go. Oh, and if you found them for 50 cents each, how many would you buy? Next thing we want to talk about. Can we talk about our insurance, about our car insurance bill?
Oh, we're not sure. We're not sure what's going to happen with our insurance. But there was an accident that occurred with our Prius. Our son was hit in the rear end. Wasn't his fault. He was stopped at a stoplight, and somebody talking on their cell phone, not watching what they were doing, and they had just canceled their insurance 2 days before, hit Philip in the rear end of our car, and it knocked it into the car in front, so both the front end and the rear were damaged. We had it estimated, and the estimate actually came out to $6,300 for repair. Our insurance company, as gracious as they are, decided not to charge us the deductible for it. We have full coverage.
Kudos to them.
Yeah, this is the advantage of having full coverage, but having full coverage with a good insurance company. But we don't know if they're going to raise our rates because of this accident. That's a lot of money for them to come up with. So we'll see during our next bill whether they've raised it up or not from that accident.
Even though it was 100% not his fault.
100%.
We
Yeah.
really don't know, because they had to put out $6,000. Now they'll go and they'll try to sue him to get that
They're
money
going to
back.
try to get their money back, but I
But,
don't know if they're going to get any money
I
out of
don't
him.
know. I honestly think they're probably going to raise our insurance. Now, our insurance does not come due until late July, early August. So we've got some grace period
Of
here
next year.
to kind of,
Yeah.
of next year, to kind of think about what it is that we want to do and how we can prep for how that goes out. What we'll probably do is we will probably estimate. I don't know whether to estimate 10 or 20% raise in prices. I truly don't. But what we'll probably do is we'll do our entire outline for our budget in 2026. And then we'll figure out if there's any extra money to sneak in there, a just in case fund, just in case it goes up, so it's not totally by surprise for us.
Well, the other thing I was thinking about too, Hope, is if we call the insurance company through our broker and ask them, do you think that you're going to raise the insurance because of this accident? I think they could give us a straight answer.
Well, I think it would give them the idea. I vote.
Oh, okay.
I vote
Okay.
that we call our broker, not
Yes,
the insurance
that's what I
company.
mean. Call the broker.
Yeah, call the broker and say, in your experience,
There you go.
does
Yeah.
this generally wind up costing the person who is insured more money at the beginning of the next?
And as you know, car insurance is out of the roof
Yuppers.
anyway. Oh, it's so high. It costs so much to drive a car these days because it just has risen. The prices have really risen at the auto body shops to do the repairs. And they don't make cars easy to repair. You can go pretty slow and hit the rear end of a car and do $3,000 or $4,000 damage. It's just amazing. The older cars were so much better built.
This is a fun time of the year for us, actually.
Yeah.
And I think not just because we're thinking Thanksgiving, Christmas, we get to see all of our kids. Our new grandson, get to see him too. Just super excited for us.
We just saw him yesterday.
We stopped by to see him yesterday.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
getting ready to leave, and I told my son and daughter-in-law, "Oh, hey, it was good seeing you too," because I'm like talking to him, going, "Oh, it's so good to see you, honey. Grandma's leaving now."
Oh, it's very special.
It's very exciting.
Special, yeah.
But it's not just because of that. For us, this is the time of the year when we start wrapping up all these last-minute things
Yeah.
and figuring out, where did we start the year? Where does it look like we're going to end the year? We do a little bit of what we call forecasting these last 8 weeks.
Yeah.
We start making lists of, this is the last, we just bought 10 pounds of sugar, which will last us for a really long time, by the way. But it was the cheapest price per ounce, and we were at Costco, and that's where it was cheapest. So we bought the 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And I said, we need to check this off of our list. We will not have to buy this until 2026. And we're getting ready to go on our final. We go to 2 trips down to Amish country. It's an hour from our house, our drive each direction. And we order bulk food. So we're getting ready to do that too. So that will be checked off our list.
Yeah.
We love checklists. Does anybody else live by checklists? I do. It drives Larry a little bit
I don't.
crazy.
I track things, but not the way she does.
He wants to get started. I'm like, let me get the pen and paper so I can make my checklist, or my computer so I can make a Word document. He's like, oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It has to be a detailed checklist as well that I get to check. I like the satisfaction of making the check marks. There's nothing that makes me more exciting than checking something off or crossing it off and saying, we did this. But we start doing that, and then we start looking at the 2026 budget. And that's what a lot of this video is these things happened. how are we going to react? What are we going to do? How are we going to change? Because that's the big thing. You get to the end of the year and you start saying, what worked, what didn't work, what are we going to keep for next year? What are we going to ditch next year? and how are we going to change?
One of the other things that we do during these chats is we look at some broader items to kind of toss around and think about. So one of the things is we're coming to the end of fall. Well, actually, we started fall, but we're projecting toward the end of fall. One of the things that's going to cut off is our CSA, and that's our groceries that we get every Saturday from our food group, and that is a really nice addition because we get about $25 worth of groceries, but it's actually a lot more than that.
It is. It's community supported agriculture.
Yeah.
The farmer that does our community supported agriculture group, you pay at the first of the year. And then when the crops ripen and all everything becomes available, then once a week during the growing season, we get a bushel basket of food. Now, the advantage is it's a lot of food.
It's a lot of food.
And you don't get to pick it, though. That's the disadvantage. So you have to be ready and willing and able to change, to create recipes, maybe with ingredients you've never tried before, that kind of thing. But for us, like, we live for that kind of thing. We're like, oh, cool. What can we do with this? And
it is good.
We have a really good time with it. We've probably been in CSAs for close to 15 years.
But they end, and it's ending, what, in a couple of weeks?
One more.
One more. We only have one more. So then we'll have to think about where are we going to get our groceries that we were getting through that service, and how are we going to go about funding that, and so on. So we have to look at that a little more carefully for our grocery budget.
You know, frugal living is all about pivoting. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
It's all about figuring out what's coming up, pivoting to meet that need, making sure that you are figuring out what you're going to do differently and whether that worked or whether it didn't work. It's a lot of data for us, but I thrive on that. And once again, like, numbers are my BFFs, not so much him. He just waits for me to gather the numbers and then tell him what the numbers are. And this is a lot like the chat we're having right now. Honestly, if we were having our weekly chat about our finances and our weekly budget meeting, this is a lot of what happens in that budget meeting, where we throw ideas around and we figure out what sticks and what we're going to try.
I let her pretty much set the direction that we're going to go, because she does all the hard work on it with all that data. I just want to know, where do I fit in? What lane am I going to drive in while I'm driving down the road? I want to make sure I'm in the right place and working toward what we have planned on doing. Another category for the fall of the year is our gift budget. And how are we going to change what we're doing as far as giving? And one of the things that we do during our Christmas season, and this works out really well for our frugal part of it, is that we all of the kids and us, give used items to each other, and we do that voluntarily. So we try to go to Goodwill or one of the thrift stores and get something really nice that will be really fitting for the person that we're giving to. That becomes a really fun thing. It's a fun exchange. It really is. We don't spend a lot of money doing it.
We call it Merry Thriftmas.
Merry Thriftmas.
Merry Thriftmas.
Yes.
And so at least one gift that you give to each person needs to be something that, I mean, it could be something that you even have, right? And you're like, oh, they would love this. So for us, it has been super fun as a family to say, you're never going to guess where I got that from. And that's been a fun thing. But yeah, I was smirking because you were talking about the Christmas budget, and I thought, the new grandbaby, $200. Everybody else, $5. That's what everybody else gets. No, seriously, we are not, as you might imagine, we are not those kind of grandparents. We are not going to throw gift after gift after gift at the baby. But I think being together as a family and celebrating is the most important thing.
Another thing we look at too is free fall activities, like through our public library. In fact, we're going to our public library tonight for a free activity. And those are always nice to take advantage of, because you're not spending any extra money. You're spending time together. You're not just sitting at your four walls of your home and watching TV and drinking coffee. You're getting out and doing something. So those are always fun too. And there's a lot of winter activities around Christmas and Thanksgiving that are offered that are low cost or very much close to free that we can do.
prepping your life, prepping your home, prepping your yard, prepping your calendar, prepping your budget for fall and winter. That's really what we're talking about.
Yes.
Now, if you're into figuring out how to prep your home for winter so that you too can lower those winter utility bills, we did a whole video dedicated to winter utilities and how to lower those costs. That video right over there.